All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are good. That took me a minute. I didn't know what was going on with the camera there. And my technician, I have to fire the guy. Gotta fire the freaking guy because he didn't know what was going on either. Except the only technician here is me. I'm not gonna fire myself, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. That's not gonna happen. That's not what's gonna go down. Let me check on the audio. Let's go. Everybody, pull your phones out. Get on Twitch right now. Go to the Famous DJ Agency Twitch channel. Make sure the audio works. And if it doesn't work, go ahead and drop a comment. Because that's what we do here on the late night show starring yours truly, DJ Pakman. We help each other out. That's right. So let's go ahead and check this out. Let's see. Let's check for sound. All right. We got one viewer. Is that me on my phone? Twitch channel. Make sure the audio works. And if it doesn't work, go ahead and drop a comment. Audio is good. We got Puffy. What? Puffy on the Twitch channel? I don't even believe it. That's got to be... It's got to be like his evil twin brother or something. Because I do not believe that Puffy is on the freaking channel right now. Let's go. All right, here we go. Let's get this started. What are we going to talk about today? I got some really cool things to talk about today, and it's going to be a little bit different, all right? Because we're not going to talk about DJ related stuff, and I'm going to tell you why. I want to change it up. That's why. And I get to do whatever the heck I want because it's my show. So what we're going to talk about, I ran into this article yesterday, and it was, I read the full article, and I want to see if you guys agree with what I'm about to ask, okay? What the article was about was questions you should ask on a first date. Questions you should ask on a first date. And this is what I'm going to do, all right? I'm going to ask the question, and then I'm going to answer the question as if I was on that first date. And then I'm going to tell you if you should ask this question on the first date or not. Because some of these questions, I've been on first dates before, and let me tell you right now, I wouldn't ask some of these questions. So you got to be very daring to ask some of these questions, or maybe you need some training on how to go on dates. I don't know. We'll see right now. Okay. So the first question, and I really like this first question. I'm gonna tell you why, because it like stuck with me. All right. It hit me in my heart. Would you rather be fluent in all languages or be a master of every musical instrument? All right? And go ahead and drop a comment, if you want to go ahead and, if you know the answer to this question and you would answer this question on the first date, go ahead and drop a comment. And the answer that I would give is, as a DJ, I think any DJ would tell you the same thing, and any DJ that doesn't answer it this way is not a real DJ. Shout out to all the fake DJs out there. Ugh. Yes, I would rather be a master of every musical instrument in the entire world as opposed to being fluent in all languages. Can you imagine the type of sounds and the type of production and the type of musical value that I would bring to the table as a DJ if I knew if I was just a master of every musical instrument in the entire world? It would be endless. It would be freaking endless. Now, here you go. Would I ask that question on a first date? The answer is maybe. I would maybe ask that question, maybe if the date wasn't going too well. The date wasn't going too well, I would literally pop up on Google and be like, hey, questions to ask on a first date. And if that question popped up, I'd be like, okay, that's what I'm going to ask because that's what Google told me to do. And what do we know about Google is that you do what Google tells you to do because we are all robots. That's right. So maybe I would ask that question. Maybe I would ask that question. So it's not a definite no, but it's definitely not a definite yes. Okay. Once again, if the date's not going too well, then I would ask that question. All right. This next one. Look, this next question, you gotta catch a vibe with whoever you are on a date with. Okay, with whoever you're on a date with, you gotta be vibing real good in order to ask this next question. The question goes, what cartoon do you still like to watch? Well, first and foremost, Spider-Man. Hello. Batman on repeat. Yeah. And, for some comedy relief, I'd watch Animaniacs. Sure, why not? Pinky and the Brain. Hey, let's go. But that's my answer. Shut up. That's my answer. Would I ask that question? Nah, not really. No, I would not. I would not ask that question. Like I said, you'd have to be on a real vibe on a first date and really know this person on a personal level to ask that kind of question, because those are like some. You're putting yourself out there. You're letting people know who you really are. And if you still watch cartoons, they gotta find out about that when you're already in the relationship and they just don't care anymore. It's like, hey, we're already dating. We're about to get married. So, okay, I found out that you have a stash of like comics. All right. I'll still marry you even though you have a stash of comics. Nerd or geek. Shout out to all my nerd friends. Shout out to all my nerd friends. No hate going your way, I promise. Once again, if you find someone that vibes with you on that level, do it. Go for it. Heck yeah, why not? This next question, I don't even want to ask it on the air, on the show, because it's not something I would ask. I would no. Should I skip it? I'm getting a no. All right. People are saying I have a live audience on the studio today. Big shout out to DJ Tony B Fresh. Whoop whoop. Live audience right now says no, do not skip a question, and I'm gonna go ahead and ask the question. And the question is, what was your favorite fairy tale growing up? Look, I think that's a fair question to ask a girl. Yeah, by all means. But if you get asked that question as a man, Optimus Prime, that's my favorite fairy tale. That's what I'm gonna say. Shoot, is that not a fairy tale? Optimus Prime? No. Transformers? Anybody? All right, Hercules. That's Disney. Yeah, that's right. Okay, fine. I will answer it just because I am on the show and I said I would answer these truthfully. And Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast. That's right. That's my favorite fairy tale movie. Hey, shut up. You shut up right now. Beauty and the Beast, I'm going to tell you why. That beast, man, he had some courage to go after such a beautiful girl. He had some beast cajones, right? He had some beast cajones, like, with all them teeth to, like, still make that happen. So that's, yeah, Beauty and the Beast. Yeah, that's the manliest fairy tale that I could think of, because beast mode. That's right. I don't know. Don't ask that question. Like I said, well, actually, you know what? Ask it if you're a guy and you're asking a girl that question. Feel free. All right. This next question. If you ask this next question, I'm gonna if I'm on a date and I get asked this question, I'm gonna try to put you in a loony institution. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and recommend that you get some psych, evaluation, because I have no idea why you would ask this question on a first date. And I'm gonna answer the question because that's the promise that I made. But don't ever ask this question on a first date. Anybody. Anybody. Don't ask this question on the first date. And the question is, if you were a vegetable, what would you be and why? What the hell do you do with that? What the heck do you do with that question, and how the heck do you answer it? Well, DJ Tony B Fresh just got nasty in the studio with his answer right now. I don't even want to say his answer. That's you take it up with DJ Tony B Fresh. Look him up on Instagram. He's single, ladies. give him some love. Give him some love on Instagram. Let's go. DJ Tony B Fresh, single, ready to mingle. Let's go. All right. Once again, somebody asked me this question. Psych evaluation. That's what I would do. But to be fair, the way I would answer the question, I honestly, the only answer I could think of right now is an avocado, but only because I'm freaking Mexican and I just love avocados. Like that's just that's the only logical answer in my head, that I'm Mexican and I love avocado. So that's how I would answer that question. All right. Okay, number 5. This is a legitimate question on a first date. I'm not gonna lie. This one for sure got me, like, it got my attention, and I would answer. Not only would I answer this question, I would possibly even ask this question. Okay, if you worked at a circus, which job would you want to have? And no brainer for me, the job that I would have is the host and the announcer, right? I mean, I think I have the talent for it. I have the charisma for it. I would have no issue going out there and just doing all the announcements for the circus. So that's, like I said, I'm so down for that question. Now, something I would love to do at a circus is, like the people that are flying through the air with those ropes, whatever that's called. I don't know what that's called. But that's, to me, something that I would see myself attempting to do, if I had a passion for circus work. And like I said, this is a question, yeah, why not? That's a valid question. But don't start off that way. Like, especially if you're on a blind date. That's like the first minute you see each other, you haven't even said hi, and you just start off like, hey, if you worked at a circus, what job would you do? Your date would be like, oh, I'm at the wrong place. Just walk away. No. We met on the app, remember? Oh, shoot. I lost another one. I gotta stop asking these dumbass questions. That's all right. Moving on. Moving on. By all means, ladies and gentlemen, I am not a comedian. I am not trying to make anybody laugh. So, I just found this article and I just, thought it would be great for the show. All right. So here we go. Another question that I would definitely ask. I would ask this question because I have done it before, and it's a great question to ask, especially, it just lets you know the kind of person that the other person is, which I think it's a good insight into another person's train of thought. And the question is, if you could have one magical power, what would it be? Believe it or not, this has a lot of insight on the type of person the other person is, okay? So a lot of people immediately answer this and they say, I'd like to be invisible. Well, what that tells you about the other person, I'm about to read horoscopes here. What that tells you about the other person is that they're like shy and they're like an introvert, right? So they're more like, oh, I don't want to be seen. I'm just more on the shy, keep to yourself type of person. Like, I believe there's been studies on this. You go ahead and look it up on your own. I'm just, thinking back to things that I've read. And if the person, this is my answer. My answer is I would love to fly. All right, to fly. That would be my magical power. That's the one thing that I would just enjoy. And what that says about that person is that they're just very free, right? And outgoing, and they just have a personality where they just want to explore things in the world. And yeah, I think that fits right. Yeah, I think it fits perfectly with the type of person that I am. So, yeah, that's a question that I would definitely answer. I would ask, and I would not think you're crazy if you asked that question. So, if you could have one magical power, what would it be? Same goes. I'm gonna go ahead and this next question is one superpower. So it's the same question except instead of magical power, it'd be superpower. I think those are redundant, so I'm just gonna go ahead and skip that one because I feel it's the same thing. Now here's another really really good question that once again I would ask or I would answer. Okay, would you rather live in a world of magic or superheroes? Would you rather live in a world of magic or superheroes? And this question right here, you could get into it. You could go ahead and like really dig deep and kind of like take the date places, right? You could take the date places. So you could like if you're on a date with a girl and you ask this question, you'd be like, yeah, like, if you were living in the world of Harry Potter, would you rather live in that world or would you rather live in the world of Marvel? Like Infinity War and all that good stuff. Like, which one would you rather be a part of? If like all of that was real, which world would you prefer to live in? Like, that's a good question. That's just like a fun question to ask on a first date, etc. And the answer for me, that's a tough one because actually, I could see myself living in both of them. Like, I really enjoy both, Marvel, DC, Harry Potter world. Yeah, I would honestly have a tough time answering that question. No, I can't even think of an answer right now, even though I'm on air here. I think I would like to live in either. This is how I would answer it. And I know I'm cheating here, but there's no rules. Whatever's. I would say that I would like to live in either world as long as I'm one of the superheroes or one of the protagonists of the like if I'm living in the Harry Potter world, I would like to be Harry Potter. That sounds weird. Well, yeah, shut up. This is my show. All right, whatever's. Yeah, I would like to be Harry Potter. Yeah, and I would defeat Voldemort and yeah, I would win, but the only thing with that is that I would probably actually I'm not about to retell the story of Harry Potter, but yeah, okay, moving on. I literally see how good that question is? That's how good it was. It like caught me, I started thinking about it. And those are good questions. Those are good questions. This is another good question. This is another good question to ask on a first date. And I promise you're going to like this one. So, what do you think you were in a past life? Ooh, that's a good question. Now, there's a lot of controversy behind that question, and once again, you kind of get to know people by asking that question on a very light-hearted way, right? Because, there's a lot of people who don't believe in reincarnation. That there's a lot, the answer from a person might go into, oh, well, my religion, I don't really believe that, et cetera, et cetera. But you could just pretend, right? You could get into this fun conversation and even kind of get deeper into it. Like, all right, that's cool. If your religion doesn't allow that or you don't believe that, that's totally cool. But what if? What if it was real? What do you think you would have been in your past life? And my answer to that question is, oh man, that's whew. I don't even know. That's once again, you know what? It's making me think. Maybe these questions are pretty good. Well, actually, yeah, some of them. I said some of them in the beginning of the show. I said some of them were pretty good. All right, so um, yeah, in my past life, what would I have been? Maybe some type of musician. You know, I love music so much. You know, so I could imagine being involved in music. Maybe I was one of the Beatles. Don't laugh. I'm a Mexican Beatle. Yeah. I'm I came up with the song Cucaracha. That was me. That was me as a Mexican Beatle. Um Anyways, yeah, maybe some type of musician for sure. That's what I would have been in my past life. And the next question, you know, you could ask these questions together. And once again, these are good questions to ask, and they're very deep. You know, it lets you know about a person's like personality on their inside, and how they think. The next question that you would follow up with would be: if reincarnation exists, what would you like to come back as? Oh man, that's a thinker, right? That's a thinker. Like, what would you like to come back as if reincarnation was real? The answer the answer to that question for me, oh man, it would probably be, I would stick with music. I would stick with music. Maybe yeah, if it's another human being, I would just love to be a musician, right? If it's an object or an animal, well, if it's an animal, I would like to come back as a lion. That's like just such a tough, animal that I think I would be. I think I'd be a pretty cool lion. And then if it's an object, a piano, I would like to come back as a piano because to me, the piano is the most beautiful instrument in the entire world. And if people used me to produce music like that, it would be such a beautiful honor. It would be an honor to be a piano. All right. Now, here is another good question that I would ask or I would answer on a first date. And that is, would you rather have more money or more time? Would you rather have more money or more time? And yes, I would encourage you to ask this question. Once again, to me, a first date has to be something that encourages positive conversation, getting to know each other, and then showcasing the fact that you are a fun individual that can come up with conversation. And this question right here enables great conversation. So would you rather have more money or more time? My answer to that is bring on the money. Woo! No, I'm just kidding. I would rather have more time. I would 100% rather have more time. I know that I spend a lot of time trying to make money, like all of us, right? We all do that. But there was this, all right, there was this story one time. And I saw it I actually saw it on TikTok. All right. So the story said that a person came up to another person and told them, "Hey, I'll give you $200 million, but you have to die tomorrow." And anybody that gets asked that question would immediately turn down the $200 million. So that means that with $200 million, you value your life at more than $200 million. And there's no amount in the world that a person can tell you, $1 billion, $1 trillion. There's no amount that you would say, okay, let me have the $1 trillion and I'll die tomorrow. That's the level of value that you give to your life, right? Imagine that type of conversation on a first date. Damn, get married already. Woo! That's right. That's some deep conversation, and I recommend that 100%. 100%. Okay, next question. The only way I would ever ask this question, or would be okay with being asked this question, is if I had just finished watching the movie Jackass at a movie theater. I can't think of another movie or another event in my life that I would ask this question. Or be okay with being asked this question. Would you rather drink 1 gallon of ketchup or 1 gallon of mustard? Who the heck came up with this? I bet you the person that wrote this question down on this article drank a gallon of ketchup. And they're like, yeah, I'd much rather drink a gallon of ketchup. That sounds fine. I think I'd rather enjoy that. And they were probably high on something or really drunk. No, I would not do either of those things, and I really honestly recommend that you don't ask that question on a first date or on any date, to be honest. I would not recommend that you ask that question. But unless you're coming out of a Jackass movie, okay? Then I would be okay with you asking that question or being asked that question. All right. Here is another question that's just such a weird question. I don't even know what to do with this question, but we're going to go ahead and ask it anyways. We're going to do a poll one more time with our one audience member here in the studio, DJ Tony B. Fresh. Should I ask this question, yes or no? Oh, my goodness. He said yes. He said yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the question, and these are going on TikTok, so you could go ahead and tag DJ Tony B. Fresh and blame him for me asking this question on the show. The question is, would you rather permanently look like a fish or smell like a fish? I don't know. I don't know. I honestly, I don't know what I would rather. If I would rather look like a fish or smell like a fish. If somebody asked me that, I would just make gross faces at them and probably walk away. Well, you're weird. Goodbye. And now anybody online knows that in order to get rid of me as a date, they just ask me that question, and if the date's not going well, there you go. You could just ask that question. Okay. Now, this next question, also a little weird, but not. I wouldn't mind. It's okay. It's an okay question. It's not the worst question in the world. It actually reminds me of a episode of Friends. But the question is, if you could pick a new first name, what would it be? And my answer to that is that I wouldn't change my first name. I'm perfectly happy with my name, and there's nothing that I would prefer over that, to be 100% honest with you. Maybe I would change it to my DJ name, right? But my DJ name derives from my first name. So, my name is Francisco, that in Mexico, people who are Francisco, they're called Paco. And then my DJ name, Pakman, came from Paco. Oh my God, I just said Paco in the widest accent in the freaking world. All right, Paco. Let's go ahead and call Paco this Mexican dude that can say Paco. Híjoles. Anyways, yeah, that's where Pac-Man came from. And so, yeah, I wouldn't change it. If I would, maybe to Pac-Man, right? Maybe to Pac-Man. And once again, this question is definitely acceptable on a first date. I would not mind it. I would answer it. I would think about it. And hold on, we have a question from the audience. What's going on? Copyrights. That's right. Damn it. Yeah. Oh, and the show, the episode on Friends that this made me think of. Uh, if you guys are fans of the show Friends, it's the episode with Phoebe where she finds out she could change her name after getting married. She could change her last name, and they tell her you could change your name to anything you want, and she changes her name to Princess Consuela or something like that. And I could do it with a white accent because that's how they do it on the show, Princess Consuela. They don't, or was that too Mexican? I don't know. Anyways, Princess Consuela. That's an episode of Friends that it reminded me of. Now, here's the next question. Um, oh man. Okay, this is a weird question, but it's a good question. All right, so I would. I would honestly, I would answer this question, and I wouldn't think you're weird if you asked this question on a first date. Um, the question is, if animals were to make wildlife documentaries about humans, what are some of the weird things they would show? Look, I honestly, I'd have to think about this one a little bit more, but I know, one of the things that animals, if they were making this documentary, they would probably look at humans and think things like, maybe things like, oh, they sleep on a bed. Oh, that's weird. We sleep on the ground. We're so much happier as animals. Let's see what other things. Oh my God, they brush their teeth. Awkward. Let's see. I mean, those are things that I could. As you're thinking them, feel free to comment. Those are the two things that I could think of that animals would be like, oh, that's super weird. Everything else, I think animals probably think we're really cool, right? Like cars. Cars are cool. Like, I can't think of an animal thinking, aha, you get to drive faster. Ha! Sucker. Yeah. All right, we're going to move on to the next question. This is a stupid question. I'm a preface with that this is a stupid question. I don't want to answer it, but I'm going to answer it because I made a promise. All right, how does our hair know when to stop growing? The only way I could think of someone asking this question is if they're super high on something. I apologize to all my friends that, get high and stuff, but that's the only. Yeah, I wouldn't ask that question. I just wouldn't. I would not ask that question, nor would I think you're interesting if you ask that question. I would think, have you taken some drugs? Have you taken some drugs? That's what got you to ask this question right now. And should we end our date right now? Oh, here's a good one. This is a good one for sure. If you could have been a child prodigy, what would you have wanted to be skilled at? I'm gonna go ahead and age myself with this one, but I don't even care. If anybody ever watched the show, It's a Smart Guy. It was about this kid who was really, really smart, and he got into all these funny things and had to figure things out on how to get out of these circumstances. It's called It's a Smart Guy. Look it up. It's an older show. But that's kind of like what I think of that I would have liked to have been really, really like ultimately smart, right? Like graduated college at like 8 years old or something. That's it's a good question. It's a good question, and I would have honestly enjoyed that. And I see sometimes on shows I'll see like little kids just answer crazy math questions. It's like, damn, that would have been nice, especially to finish school so fast. Whew. Yes, I would love to have finished school at 8 years old and never have to go back again. Yeah, can you tell I wasn't a fan of school? All right. Next question. We're going to go ahead and move on. So what's the first thing you would do if you were in zero gravity? All right, this is gonna be weird, all right? I don't even know if I should say this. Yeah, okay. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. It's a thought that has ran through my head about people who go up there and have zero gravity, and they're in space. And I always have wondered if, and maybe you could tag an astronaut on this one after I put it on TikTok, and they would let me know, the answer to this. But if when you're burping, does that push your body back because there's zero gravity? Like, does it make in the cartoons, where like there's like farting or burping, and it just makes, like, the farting makes them faster? This is in cartoons. Or burping. Yeah. Would a burp move an astronaut to a different location because there's zero gravity? These are the thoughts that I come up with. I don't know. You're the one watching the show. Why are you blaming me? I'm gonna say what I want. Okay. Here, I'm gonna go ahead and I want to know the answer to this. So as you are listening to the show, go ahead and think about the answer, and then go ahead and comment, and I'm gonna read the comments afterwards. Would you do well in a zombie apocalypse? Every time. First and foremost, I forgot to say this. Yeah, this would be a great question for a first date. All right. And yeah, I mean, I would immediately go to The Walking Dead, right? That's like the one show that I would think of, and like I always think of The Walking Dead, and I think of myself as Rick Grimes, like the protagonist of the show, the main guy, the hero, the super cool dad, right? I'd have to lose some weight for that, but that's okay. And gain some muscle. Shut up. um, but yeah, that's honestly, I see myself as like, yeah, I would make things happen. I would figure it out. I would honestly make things happen if I was in a zombie apocalypse. I would freaking figure it out. I also think of the movie I Am Legend with Will Smith. That's a great movie, and I see myself like just, yeah, make once again setting up bombs, setting up like little you know little bomb areas where kind of like boogie traps where the zombies all get like stuck in. Um, yeah, I think I would survive, and it's one thing saying it out loud, and it's another thing actually living it. I don't know what would happen, but to the best of what I think of in my head, I would definitely survive, and I would want to keep my family safe. 100%. 100%. I would do the things that Rick Grimes does in The Walking Dead to keep his family safe. I would do any of those things in a second just to keep my family safe. So, absolutely. All right. And yeah, that's great question for a first date. Especially if you both have watched The Walking Dead. Absolutely amazing question. That's something that could get a conversation going easily for sure. All right, next question is, what one skill would help you the most? What one skill would help you the most? Apparently for me it's reading. I couldn't read that properly right now. But what one skill would help you the most? And for some, man, I think that's also a good question. It's a good question. That's more of a thinker. I don't think that's like a great question for a first date, because on a first date, what you want to do is you want to loosen up and kind of just vibe it out, like have fun with the first date, have a good time. Make each other laugh, make each other feel comfortable. And this one right here is a thinker. Maybe on a second or third date for this question. But to answer the question, what one skill would help you the most? The way I would answer that is, organization skills. I could be a lot more organized. I think that would would be really good for me, and I would for sure love to have a better organization skills. And you can see by my answer that that wouldn't be a really good first date question. Unless you make it fun, right? If somebody asks you that, and the one skill that would help me the most is giving you a kiss. I don't know. Moving on. Would you rather have someone special bring you breakfast in bed tomorrow morning, or be able to sleep in as late as you want? Easy. Sleep in as late as I want, of course. I don't know. Yeah, I like sleeping in. Actually, that's not true. I never actually sleep in a lot. For me, sleeping in, it's like 7 in the morning. Um, but I enjoy it. I enjoy it when I get that extra hour of sleep. I actually rather enjoy it. But yeah, I think having someone special bring me breakfast in bed. I think that's for sure something that I would enjoy a lot more. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Next question, and we're almost out of time for our questions, so we're about to get into the music part of our show. Once again, we're going to be playing nothing but brand new tracks, brand new music right here on the late night show starring DJ Pakman, and I hope you enjoy it. But we're almost there. Let's go ahead and keep. We have time for a couple more questions. If you could max out your credit card at one store and not pay the bill, which store would you choose? That's a fun question. Guitar Center. Hello. I would say PSSL, but they went out of business. I think they're back now, but PSSL Pro Sound is like a DJ's best dream and nightmare at the same time, because you'll never get out of there and you'll spend so much money. And it's funny because DJs are all DJs are broke, but they're broke with like thousands of dollars worth of equipment. So are they really broke? Yeah, I would max out my credit card at PSSL or Guitar Center and not pay the bill. I would. Obviously, if it was like a shopping spree type thing, I'm not about not paying my bills on time. I enjoy paying my bills on time, and that's something you should bring up on a first date. I enjoy paying my bills on time. Yeah, I'm a responsible person. Absolutely. Um And okay, is that a good question to ask on a first date? Absolutely. I would answer it. Not a problem. Which would you pick? Being a supermodel, a genius, or super rich? I think I would pick being a genius. Yeah. I have no interest in modeling. I feel that looks go away. Like I think looks you have them for some time, and after some time, people get older, and your body features, your face, it changes, and yeah, time goes on, and that look is not going to stay with you for the rest of your life, but being a genius is going to stay with you for the rest of your life. And super rich, same thing. I money comes and goes. Money comes and goes, and I'd much rather be a genius, because that's something that I could get rich by being a genius. And yeah, that's another good question. I would definitely ask that, and I would enjoy answering that question on a first date. Now, next question is, would you ever be on a reality TV show? Kardashians, for sure. Yes. I would be in the Kardashians. I would rather enjoy that. And I'd be the guy in the back not saying anything. And the camera just kind of like pans to me, making faces, kind of like, that would be my one that would be my one act in the Kardashian show. And every single time they show me in this show, they would just show me doing this. That's it. And I'd be on every episode. Yeah, and I'd get paid millions of dollars. Millions of dollars to do this. And all of America, the entire world would applaud me. And they'd feel me. They would vibe with me. And they would all, the entire world and the entire nation would understand what I am saying when I do this. That's what my one act would be in the Kardashian show. That's a good question. I honestly, yeah, I'd enjoy answering that. That would be my answer. So yeah, that would be my answer to that question. Next question, another good question. Another really good question is, you know what? Let me get something to drink. If you have not tried this, I recommend trying the Mango Dragon Passion Tea at Starbucks with no inclusions and no lemonade. You'll thank me. I promise you. It is freaking delicious. All right, Mango Dragon Passion Fruit, no inclusions, no lemonade. So, next question is, if you could ever be on the cover of any magazine, which one would you choose? I honestly, that's a good question. I don't know. If I could be on the cover of any magazine, Mad TV. Yeah, Mad TV. That's what I would choose. And Mad TV was an old magazine that used to come out back in the days, and it was just it was also a show on. It was also a show on TV. It's kind of like Saturday Night Live, except it was funnier. I think Mad TV was a lot funnier than Saturday Night Live because they pushed the boundaries a lot more. But they stopped making it, dude. I actually don't even know why they stopped making it, but they had a magazine to go along with it, and they had a lot of comedy on there as well. It was a great magazine. Obviously, if I got asked that on the first date, it would have to be with someone that would know that magazine as well. Otherwise, it'd be an awkward conversation. Next question and final question. Let me pick a good one, as a matter of fact. Oh, this is a good one. This is a good one. Absolutely. What is the most annoying personality trait someone can have? Can you imagine somebody asks you on a first date, what's the most annoying personality trait someone can have? And you describe them? Literally, your description of the most annoying personality trait is the person that you're on a date with? That would be hilarious. Okay, I think it's a very good question, and to me, the answer for that question to me, the most annoying personality trait a person can have would be being controlling. I think that's my most annoying thing that I could think of in regards to a person. If a person is controlling, like I cannot stand that person. Like that's like I think people need to have boundaries. I think one of the most important things that I've learned over the time in regards to dating or being in a relationship, and I think Will Smith is the person that said this, is that you're each working on your personal happiness, and then you share that happiness together. And I think that's such a beautiful way of looking at relationships, right? And not just romantic relationships, just in general, right? People don't have to be like you. They don't have to be who you want them to be. That's a weird way of looking at relationships. If you want people to be exactly like you 100% of the time, that's awkward. It's let people be people and you be yourself, and then meet in the middle, right? And look, that doesn't mean that you can't offer suggestions or offer your feedback on things you don't like. I think that's okay. And should you choose to respect each other, I think that's a beautiful thing, in a relationship. Like, hey, I don't like that you do this. And that person chooses to respect that's something that bothers you. I think that's a good thing. I don't think that's a bad thing. But forcing someone, that's borderline. Yeah, that's just not a good personality trait. That's not anything that can be a good thing. It sounds like an issue that's bigger than yeah. I would see counseling for that for sure. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So that was the show for today. That was our talking part of the show. We had to answer some questions. These are all going to go up on TikTok. So I hope you had fun with them. I really hope you enjoyed this part of the show. We're going to go ahead and move on to some music. We're going to get down. We're going to get down and dirty. And I really, really hope that you enjoy this, that you have fun. And let's freaking go. All right. So you're going to see me get off camera for a little bit because I got to switch the camera around. And we'll be right back. All right. Let's get this started. Let's play some music in the background while we set up, right? Let's do this thing.